JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. July 11th, 2024. Happy CPI day. CPI data out this morning. Cooler than expected. Year over year came in lower than expectations. Month over month showed a tenth of a percent decline. And futures soared, yields dropped. And you just hope it's not a sell the news kind of situation. Sometimes I don't like gaps. I prefer to see a meticulous melt to the upside. So hopefully futures hold here. The S&P futures were in the red before the data, and then they have since reversed a little bit into green. Now they're back a little bit, almost flat, a little red. The thing of note is the small caps. The Russell is, I would say, yeah, soaring. It's up nearly 2% right now. So, hey, I'll take the small caps rallying today and the S&P consolidating. I think that'd be a win. Just a remarkable start to July. Closed in the green every single session. It'd be pretty remarkable if we get through the first 2 weeks of the month and all green sessions. And that clip, I forget who posted. I don't know if it was Carl Quintana from CNBC, but talked about the historical performance of July. The first half of July is the best time frame for the market since like 1950, and sure enough, what happens? So hopefully we hold this gap to the upside. If you look at the small caps, it's like it's been trading back and forth, like taking shots. Right, one day it's up, one day it's down. Trading right at that 50-day moving average. Just needs that kick. So maybe this is it. We get over that 50-day moving average, and then small caps can provide the next leg for markets. But great stuff. And then tomorrow we get the PPI data, which is more of a forward-looking number, right? Because that's the producer inflation. So when you usually that then translates into higher CPI down the line. So hopefully that comes in flat or in line, and then the earnings season kicks off with the banks. We actually had Pepsi this morning, but Pepsi, I wouldn't call that the official start. Disappointing earnings, but I think that was kind of baked in a little bit. Stock is down in pre-market. Some of it is everybody's worried about GLP-1 drugs taking a hit on sugary beverages and things like that. Right down, that's Pepsi's wheelhouse, but it's kind of holding its ground there. So, all right, enough of Pepsi. Let me talk about some of the individual names. And first, I mean, obviously, I'll talk about BIDU. Gapped higher at the open yesterday, all the way over 100. I think it hit 101.30 before pulling back. And then it seemed like it just traded between 97 and 98 for the rest of the session. Closed right at 97.94. I used the move to locks some more of my July strikes in for over 1,000%. I just have a couple left just in case there's continuation. You take a look at that move 2 days ago, and the fact that it held out the 9% rally, and then rallied, and it looks like it's going to rally again today. I think that just shows that the buyers are ready to jump in here. So I think 115 coming into August. May just look to close the rest of the July's out, and then if it shows strength today, I might look for some more August strikes, maybe to play for an overshoot over that 115 handle. So that's BIDU. Finally, happy to see BIDU really not only break out, but pay dividends there as well. A Wingstop. I posted an article. Barron's had a piece out yesterday, and there's been a lot of pieces over the last couple of weeks in regards to the casual dining space. I've been talking about this for at least the last week or so. But they're talking about the higher costs of the inflation and the menu costs that they raised, and now there's supposedly discretionary income issues. So either way, you saw slowdown. You saw McDonald's, Shake Shack, Yum Brands, Darden, all those names sell off over the last couple of weeks, and then Wingstop was just holding there. Same with Kava, and those finally starts to come to pressure. Wingstop's down about 9% so far this week. I locked most of my 380 puts in. I'll probably just hold the rest. I put it on the watch list this morning. If it holds, if it breaks back over 385 and holds that for a little bit, then I'll probably just I wouldn't say salvage because they'll still be solidly green, but I'll probably just lock them in and revisit, because at some point it's going to have a bounce, maybe from here to 400 before the next leg to the downside. So I'll just hold those for now. But it's the narrative around the casual dining space now is that you had the inflation issues, so their ingredient costs went up, so they had to raise prices. And now it seems like they're all going to be scrambling to find the right price point for all their menu items. And you already have McDonald's with that $5 offer. And I'm not saying it's going to be a race to the bottom for pricing. It's good for the consumer, but I think that might weigh on margins. I remember talking about Chipotle and some of these names back when there was inflationary concerns, and they were raising prices because of ingredient costs and things like that, And then once inflation started to cool, they could keep the high prices and just bask in margins and profits. But it seems like now that narrative is going to switch, and it's going to be like a, I would call it again a race to the bottom. But there's price wars, maybe is a better way to say it. So I think that's going to weigh in the casual dining space for a while. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. I'm not, people. I look on FinTwit, and some people message me and ask. They think Wing is valued $150. I remember when Wing was one of my top 5 stocks and was $80, and I had the same people with the same arguments saying it's a $40 stock. There's no moat around the business for Wings, right? Which I get, right? So, but you take a look at what they've done, their structure, their ghost kitchen. There's so many things I like about Wingstop. I think it's a possibility to break down to 360 or so in short term. So I'll continue to hold my July strikes. If it does show more weakness today, then you look at the 200-day moving average down to $300. Maybe I'll get some August puts, and also as a hedge, right? So if the market does reverse, even though despite the CPI data, it would offer a nice hedge. That's Wingstop. Square and Celsius, I put on the watch list this morning. I think those are like ticking time bombs. They've been consolidating, just waiting. All they need is a little kick, and then off to the races. I think both are going to trade over 70 in the coming weeks. Going to need those to start moving soon for July's, and then I'll continue to look for opportunities to play both of those. But you look at the 50-day moving average, keeps creeping down on Square, down to 66 and change. Once it gets over that, I think it's off to the races. Celsius, that's been a more abrupt sell-off. So the 50 days at 72.63. So hopefully you can get over that. Well, not get over that, but that would be a target at some point in the coming weeks. C3AI. So I still have some July 40s, which pretty much I've wrote off, I guess you could say. But Golden Cross. So it's not one of my favorite chart indicators, but sometimes I saw some a little piece or a headline. Sometimes those precede large moves, and so the Golden Cross is when the 50 crosses the 200-day moving average. So pretty much what that means is you have had prolonged consolidation or selling, and then you're finally getting a little bit of momentum, and then once the 50 shifts over to 200, it's the Golden Cross, and then starts to start a new uptrend possibly. So take a look back in the middle of 2023, back in actually March was the last time I had a Golden Cross, and then the stock was in the 20s. Actually, it might have been it might have hit 18 at times, and then in a matter of a month or two was up at $50. Not saying it's deja vu here, but could offer an opportunity, especially some of the AI hype that pushed it up back in April and May seems not, and its earnings as well. I think some of that's been consolidated, so I think it's ready to break out. So don't be surprised if you see me add some August strikes. That one's holding up pretty well. Same with Exact Science. I still have time on my July strikes. It's closed up 6 of the last 7 sessions, but albeit small moves. So that one's going to really need to start to take off for my July strikes. And then last but not least, it's no rant is done without talking about Chewy. The premiums crept up yesterday. It was only up 2%, but I was able to close the July 30, some of them for 100% just to cover costs. Still have some other strikes as well. Only a matter of time before that's back over 30. Still have my universal display calls. HPQ is finally starting to move, so maybe some hope there. VKTX, the short interest is at its 52-week high. The stock looked like it was going to finally break out. Now it's gapping down to pre-market. I don't see anything. I don't know if his LOY got an upgrade this morning. I don't know if any of that's in there. LOY's down 935. Yeah. It's funny, you read studies now. It's like every day there's a new article on GLP-1 and Ozempic, and there's, the new one is that only 1 in 10 people use it for 2 years, and it makes people not care. So some people are just going to stop taking it just because of all those, and then the adverse effects and the suits and the class action. It's, as it gains more prominence, those headlines seem to be rearing their head more and more. It just, to me, it's a function of that whole boom that's been going on in the GLP-1 space. It's like once it starts to really take off, now people are trying to find either a way to make money off it on clickbait articles, on lawsuits, on things like that. So look at small cap still going, just hit highs here in the pre-market. Small cap futures up 2.1%, while the S&P is pretty much flat and Nasdaq's flat. So good signs. Let's have a great day, folks. I'll be back on audio later. Yeah, let's have a great day. Rock and roll.